All right, this week we're going to be working on this 85 square body. We put it on a 97 Dodge chassis. It's got a 5.9 12 valve Cummins NV 4500 transmission. It's been collecting dust for a long time. We took on the project a long time ago. Basically, we've built a shop, a house, a pond, lots of stuff, and hadn't really had any time to get back on this. It's a friend's truck, and we're going to try to get back on it and get this thing out of here because we literally built the shop around this truck. But it's a pretty sweet truck. I mean, we've really taken time to do everything correctly. I mean, anything from captured nuts in the core support where the radiator bolts in to just the bed being able to be unbolted very easily, smoothed out the firewall, vintage air system. Everything is just put back as factory correct as we possibly could, putting a Chevy truck body on a Dodge chassis with a different motor as well. So the motor's been moved back. All the trans cross member and stuff was built by us. But lots and lots of work has gone into this thing. So we're going to keep plugging away and get this truck out of the shop. Shot from the back. It's probably the most high dollar flatbed that CM makes. I think it's considered a skirted bed or like a Western hauler bed. They make their beds out of some pretty decent metal, so it's not super flimsy. But you can see it actually had the little backup sensors where it was literally on a 2020 Denali dually. So it was on a Sharp truck, and they bought another bed from CM and put back on that wreck truck after they got everything fixed up. And I told my buddy that we're building the truck for, I said, man, just let me have that thing and we'll fix it up. Instead of spending $10,000 on another bed, we can fix this one. And it's turned out really good. This is one of those trucks that you build it and you wish it was for you, but you can't keep everything. So it's going to be a really nice truck. My friend does a bunch of ranching and cow stuff. So he'll be pulling cattle and horses and all kind of stuff with this truck. Who knows what else. So this is the side that we repaired. This whole side all the way down there was damaged. So we cut off this whole entire side and rebuilt it. The boxes were damaged. There's a box in the front of the tire and one behind the tire as well. The little top stainless trim was not actually damaged, so we're going to be able to reinstall that. Remade all the little pieces front and back of the tire there. All in all, it came out really nice. We got rid of there was duff right there, and so we just made a little block off and got the fuel filler neck all rerouted where you shouldn't have to park on a block to get fuel in this thing. It's just going to be a super nice truck. Everything on this truck has been touched, though. There's really nothing that we didn't have to custom make. We thought that we were going to save a bunch of time putting it on another chassis, and all the motor mounts were going to be done. The trans mount was going to be done. We were just going to basically drop that cab right on, and it was going to fix all of our problems. Well, we start to lower the cab down, and the radiator is going to be underneath the fan. So obviously the motor position was not going to work. So basically we moved the motor back 4 inches. We probably could have gone a little bit more because we did have to use electric fans on this thing. But we got those Mishimoto electric fans that are lifetime warranty. So they'll work out really good. And supposedly if they ever let you down, they will just send you a brand new fan. So all the firewall's been smoothed out. It's going to have vintage air. But all the charge tubes and stuff are made. We were messing with getting the alternator charging yesterday. So we got a little bulb in there as a resistor. And we did get the alternator to work. So we got to clean the wiring up on that. But lots of stuff's been done to this truck. The doors are sound deadened. The whole cab sound deadened, firewall. We probably will sound deaden the roof as well, just to quiet it down as much as possible and get a headliner made for the truck, because it was a non-headliner truck, so there's no board in it. But all in all, it's going to be crazy. Supposed to make a whole bunch of power too, so we'll see how that goes. I've had a whole bunch of Cummins trucks over the years, but never really had anything that was more than cutting a fuel plate and messing with governor strings. So this one's got big injectors. And I don't remember what turbo this thing is, but it was from Power Driven Diesel. Whatever they recommended is supposed to be right at 600 horse. So way too much technically to be pulling 40,000 pounds behind it, which is probably what my buddy will do. But I don't know. If he burns it down, we'll put another motor in it and detune it a little bit, I guess. So we'll see. It's going to be an awesome truck. We're going to try to get some more work done on it and get it the heck out of the shop. All right, the governor springs in this truck are some cheap versions. Doesn't really do too well trying to recover after you lug the motor, like letting the clutch out at kind of low speed. So I'm not certain if we may have to pull those springs out and put a little more expensive set in there. There's some folks that say the cheap versions work great, and other folks say that if you don't have a nice set of springs, you're always going to have trouble. So I've kind of had both experiences, really. Cheap sets work great, and then cheap sets work like crap. I've probably never actually bought a nice set, but I have fought with them before. Let's see how it fires up. Pretty good. All in all, I'm pretty happy with that. It fires right up. You do have to give the truck a little bit of throttle. There's one more adjustment in that P7100 injection pump that basically gives it fuel without any throttle input. So if you just touch the throttle, it fires right up. If you don't, it kind of doesn't long crank, but it cranks a little longer before it fires up. This truck is going to be a bad unit. It's got big injectors and that power driven diesel. I think it's a S475 turbo. So we'll see. It's going to be awesome. It's got my shop smoked out pretty good. Can't really see it on camera, but anyway, you just have to trust me. Next week, we're going to bleed the brakes on this thing and actually take it down the road, even if it's just a gravel road. We need a little reward from working on this thing for so long. So get the brakes working and just hit the road, you know. So the Chevy would not have had these coil spring towers. So basically we're kind of having to carve that out. I'm trying to keep it as tight as I can, but you can see that intercooler pipe that I'm having to clearance around. But trying to keep it as tight as possible. So all this little notch here is to clear that, because the Chevy one basically just connected across this. because there was nothing in the way of the frame rail. So it actually laid over the top of the frame rail. But the Chevy inner fenders fit up a lot better than I thought. We already got the other side where it fits. We may mess with the governor springs on this truck a little bit, so I'm leaving it out for now because you can access the side of that P7100 a lot easier with that inner fender out of the way. When a project is drawn out this long, all of your bolt buckets start to look the same. Nothing looks like you remember it. You don't leave anything where you think you did. So it's best to just stay on a project. Don't jump around. Just get stuff done. Don't be like me. I guess my problem is all my projects hinge on finances. So if I don't have the money, I move on to another project. That's not always the excuse, but sometimes I have parts for something else and I'll start on that. Jump over to that for a while until the parts run out and there's a big ticket item. Then you move on to something else, which makes it where you have a whole bunch of unfinished stuff and started projects sitting around. I've got an electric golf cart around the corner that I put a little 3-cylinder Kubota diesel in. Literally was making great progress on it. And then got to the point that it was time to buy some more parts and pieces, and so we moved on, and it's been sitting there. I got all the stuff to make it have air conditioner and heat, enclosed cab. It's going to be really a cool cart if I ever get back to it, but I don't know. It's the way it goes around here, but I'm going to try to change, try to make it where I get things finished. And that way, if folks are following along on projects, they don't have to wonder, well, what happened to that project? He was working on that like crazy and then hadn't heard about it. It's gone. So hopefully we can do better. Kind of like the Peterbilt around the corner. I really want to stay on that project because I could really use a usable truck. We're always dragging junk in, so it'd be nice to have a truck that's set up to haul and can use my fifth wheel wrecker behind it and all that. I'm going to have a mix of metric and standard on these inner fenders, and I don't like that. That's what I'm trying to work out now. Looks like the captured nuts, a portion of them are standard and then some of them are metric. So trying to make heads or tails of it. It's hard enough looking at it right now, much less years down the road when you pull the inner fenders out and go to put them back in. Nothing wants to work. Oh, that's why. A portion of them are standard. I don't know. Maybe they're all standard, actually. I think they're 5/16. Oh, yeah. I'm pretty happy with that, though. Clears pretty nicely. Let's go see if we can find some more bolts. Gotta have some more bolts somewhere.
Hello guys, today we are going to do something really cool. We are going to have so much fun, and we're going to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe for our videos because it's really important to do it. Because we are really, really important right now. We are doing something that we know to do. Stay there, guys. Stay there, guys, still. As you know, we will be radioing all around. This day is all about stuff. This is cool.
I'd say this has been around for quite a while. Literally, there's a stir in there that I hook my drill to. Spray a little WD-40 in it and mix it up and get it to work again. We're almost to the bottom, so hang in there. All right, so I was working on this truck yesterday. I actually recorded a good bit of it, and I was planning on shooting all the footage while I put in the rubber floor mat. Well, it's 30 degrees right now, which is not, super cold for lots of folks, but in South Carolina, that's cold. And I had a floor mat that's rubber, and it's folded into a tiny little Cracker Jack box. Well, I unfolded it, I heated it up. By the time I get it to the truck, it was solid as a rock. You could hold it out like a frozen, I don't know, rag or something. So, word to the wise, don't film yourself putting in a rubber floor mat when it's 30 degrees outside. It's not going to be good. Nobody's going to watch that. Anyway, here's a few clips of that, but we're going to try to get the truck to run. We've had it running before, so it should fire right up, besides the fact it's cold. I'm going to put in some speakers and do some other stuff to try to finalize before I put the seat in. Just buttoning up some loose ends behind the seat, so when we put the seat in, won't have to try to access that stuff. All right, so while we have this floor mat heating up a little bit, I'm gonna go work on something else. I'm getting ready to sell this golf cart. So basically, I can't get rid of my absolute knobbies. Look at those things. So I'm gonna put some regular old-fashioned oils on there. An absolute unit of a tire. Can't let those go. Uh-oh. Looks like it's coming for you. I think I was rolling trying to knock down the camera. Then we get to keep these bad boys. I mean, there's no hair in the center of the tread, but it's on the sides. Feels like they're brand new. All right, let's go check on the floor mat. Oh yeah, that's getting better. Getting better. So we can turn it around maybe. Ah, yes. Now we got something going there. Made me look a lot weaker than I actually am. Or maybe I am just as weak as I actually looked. So, my floor mat's probably not going to have a hole. That's probably what you don't want to record, really. Something fighting you for 30 minutes that should take 5. But whatever. All right, let's go check on the floor mat. So the floor mat's in. You can see it fits okay around some of the contours. The rest of it, like over here, we welded in a different portion of the floor to basically accept the Dodge original fuel tank in this truck. So it doesn't fit great. I'm sure if it was 100 degrees, this thing would relax a lot more, and I'm sure it still will relax, but I got a lot of the bolts protruding through, like the seat belt, another seat bolt there. But I don't know. I'm not super happy with it, but it's kind of gonna have to just lay there until it heats up and relaxes a little. The instructions basically said to lay it in 70-degree temperature for 48 hours and let it relax before you install it. Well, I didn't see those instructions, so I took it out of the box and immediately started working on installing it after heating it up. So, anyway, it took me about 4 hours to get it to this point. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about with the floor mat and the cold weather. This is in this corner. It's just not happy. Anyway, I'm going to put a little heat on it and see if that helps. All right, folks at home, that's going to be all for this week. Next week, we'll work on this truck some more. We got some regular steel fab work coming up, unfortunately, which means we have to pull off of this. But we need to push through and get this thing done. We got AC lines to work on, a dryer to mount, coolant reservoir, getting the brakes bled. And also, we need to work on the parking brake cables since this is a standard transmission. We don't need it rolling down the hill at the branding, you know. It's going to be bad. Anyway, we'll see you next time.